Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Unacademy. This is Success Sampath interacting with you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to become IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS? We Unacademy, with top educators of India and meticulously designed quality content, we are waiting for you, waiting to shape you especially. Once you enroll yourself in Unacademy, ladies and gentlemen, you will undergo a great learning experience. You know very well about Unacademy, India's largest and the best online education platform. And what are all the benefits you are likely to get? You can ask me once you enroll yourself in Unacademy. Ladies and gentlemen, you got daily live classes. You can chat with your educator and you can engage in all-round productive discussions, and you can also ask genuine doubts and participate in the answer polls conducted then and there. So all these things that you can do while sessions going on. And beyond that, you got structured courses which is completely in alignment with pattern of examination and also the syllabus, so that you never get deviated from the expected framework. Many times we are keep on emphasizing one important point. The point is that it is not knowing the stuff, knowing to deliver the stuff, because delivery matters. And beyond that, it's not what you deliver, how do you deliver. Ladies and gentlemen, for that purpose, we have got evaluation pattern, and we evaluate your preparation at various stages through a mechanism where we have regular mock tests, quiz programs, and you get detailed report analysis based on your performance. You come to know where you are strong, where you are weak, and also how much time you took it in solving a question. And once you enroll, maybe your devices, electronic devices available, maybe your mobile phone, your laptop, even your desktop, right? And what you have to do for that, you have to download Unacademy learning app immediately, so as to avail all these benefits we enlisted. And it may be Android or iOS, that you can download, and you can that get all these benefits. Who is this interacting with you? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Success Sampath interacting with you. I am from Chennai, and I have got the unique experience of got exposed to the field of engineering, management and legal education. With 25 years of experience in the field of coaching civil service aspirants, with my team, I could visit, witness, especially I should say rather, 250 plus results as IAS, IPS, IRS, IFS. All my, that kids working in different parts of India and abroad as well. What is the vision of mine? You can ask me. Yes, to provide career solution, especially by enabling youths of India to start at the beginning level, later to embrace the whole. And fortunately, this particular vision of mine is in completely alignment with, coinciding with Unacademy's vision. We are working together to shape you so that you realize your dream, so that you become leader in different capacities in future. And you can also reach me through Telegram channel, or even my that YouTube channel, especially Success Sampath or Sampath Iruvengidam. You can reach me for all your queries, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's not only me when I say part of Unacademy. We've got more than 100 plus top educators as a team waiting for you. And once you that you enroll, you will come to know the UPSC Civil Service Examination. That particular that segment itself has got more than 15,000 courses, subject-wise module, duration-wise module. You will come to know everything about it. And when you talk about UPSC Civil Service Examination, we've got two major programs. One is Plus program, another one is Iconic. What is this Plus program? Yes, you got regular live classes, test series, unlimited practice sessions, the structured schedule. Beyond that, we have to speak that way. You got 12 months program, 24 months program. You can join according to your convenience. You can also use my referral code, say Success, to avail 10% discount. And more than this particular Plus program, you got Iconic program. We highly strongly recommend this program because which has got the unique feature. You will be allotted a personal coach, a mentor to take care of you, to understand your nature and suggest study planner accordingly, and also to give you feedback based on your performances. Beyond that, to train you every day in terms of answer writing practices. Here too you have 12 months program, 24 months program. You can use my referral code, say success, to avail 10% discount. Technically speaking, you end up paying mere 80 to 100 rupees per day basis. I think it's not even your expenditures meant for your evening snacks, ladies and gentlemen, but you ensure your career in this way. And I think this is right time, the very purpose of our interaction today. This is in continuation of other sessions also, ladies and gentlemen, but it is quite comprehensive. You know very well sociology as a subject matter, very popular, optional in UPSC Civil Services Examination, especially at the mains level. And you can score very good marks, not only in sociology, also it has got added advantages that you can score good marks in general studies, especially paper 1 you got society portion, and in paper 4 you got ethics case study. The case studies meant for 130 marks you can easily score because you understand the social problems getting converted into case studies, and all these the basic concepts, the terminologies that you get exposed in the name of sociology, the perspectives you come to know because you understand the society in the name of sociology in its comprehensive manner and take into account the multiple aspects of the society, so that you will never find problem in understanding that the subject matter of sociology, even to understand the day-to-day living. You are part of the society. And beyond that, you got one essay paper. When you take into account that the previous year questions, that the whole topics can be brought under or grouped under 8 domains. One domain is always belonging to society. There comes the subject matter of sociology, because after all sociology is all about a science of society or study of society, ladies and gentlemen. It is that way we are talking about. And beyond that, even in your oral interview, the stand you arrive at will be well balanced, because basically you get exposed to the sociology which will teach you the objectivity. Today we are going to elaborate that particular concept also. The essence of sociology, objectivity. You will never get that deviated from the stand. Otherwise you are not prejudiced, influenced. You will come to know, because otherwise, let me put this way, every coin has got 2 sides, and the 2 sides. It's not seeing only side of the coin, one side of the coin, and you make opinion or you become judgmental. So you are capable of seeing the 2 sides of a single coin so that you understand the truth. That is the byproduct of sociology, ladies and gentlemen. So it is that way we are talking about. Beyond that, it is next in touch, because you are living in this society. Society is in you, because the way with which you behave in a particular situation is because of the culture. It's because of the socialization you got exposed. Otherwise, culture is said to be a way of life, style of life, a blueprint of the society available at the level of society that you got through brought up, you call common parlance. It's in sociologically speaking, in sociology it is otherwise called socialization. So that gives you, that shapes you, that molds your personality in such a way that cultural conditioning through various agents we call social institutions. Charity begins at home, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, that begins with your family, your parents, your same age group, peer group. Then we talk about your educational institutions, your neighborhood, community, economic institutions, political institutions, even the media, especially social media, because today we are living in the world, the WhatsApp university. It is that way various institutions acting as agents in shaping your personality, molding your personality, so that you get the blueprint of the society called culture. So society is in you. So you are intimately connected with the society as an individual, ladies and gentlemen, in all your performances, in all your thinking, in all your behaviors. Otherwise, if you say this is what my personality, it's byproduct of the society, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, so the very close intimacy you enjoy with the subject matter, that's why it became very popular. It's almost knowing about yourself, knowing about your social media, knowing about the society you are part of, ladies and gentlemen. Right, it has got so much of that advantages that you will come to know. I think I'm qualified enough to speak about this. Having scored more marks, I could also ensure my students could get wonderful marks, so that because of that they reach top level. top positions. They are into the bureaucratic, the domain now. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's enough introduction on the part of, sociology and its advantages. You know very well the basic concepts. The list is, the today's interaction, the content, the purpose of today's interaction. The basic concepts, you know very well the role of basic concepts. I told you many times, if you want to eradicate poverty from India, you should understand what is poverty. If you're not very, if you don't have clarity otherwise in terms of the concept or notion called poverty, how come I can believe that you are going to eradicate poverty, ladies and gentlemen? So, the clarity is life, understanding is life. So, in that note, basic concepts playing very crucial role in making you understand. It's almost like foundation of a building. Then only you can understand the perspectives on the part of sociology, so that you see two sides of a single coin, multiple aspects of the society. And beyond that, even to understand the question, even to deliver letter and spirit to the point, you need the support of the basic concepts. The common sense is totally different from sociological sense, ladies and gentlemen. Because in common parlance, that when I ask you what is society, you will say, you will show people. Yeah, this is society by showing people. But society is more than people. Something beyond the people. But without people, you can never form society. But something existing among the people. It is that way, gentlemen. Sociological way of understanding concepts totally different. It is otherwise, that initiating you to the sociological theories, sociological perspectives through basic concepts, through keywords. It's almost like foundation. Later you can build your superstructure in terms of perspectives, or next level. You see all research studies, that's totally different. Even case studies, there come, ultimately there comes the thinkers, global thinkers, Indian sociologists. And you apply the sociological understanding of US in terms of, understanding what is Manrega and what is poverty, what is, the new education policy in India, and even the, the Citizenship Amendment Bill, what we are talking about. All social issues you can take into account, that you can apply this understanding, so that but your understanding after that, the very generalization you arrive at will be very pakka, precise, well, because the perspectives, how to see the two sides of a single coin. That is a byproduct of sociology, ladies and gentlemen. And that you get because of understanding thoroughly the basic concepts part of sociology. Yes, and we are going to see a couple of, that concepts today. After that, we will be discussing resources. I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is the right time. Let me take you in. You're on board. Yes, we gave introduction, and we also said the importance of the basic concepts, especially in enriching your understanding and also making you score more than 450 marks out of 500. It is possible. You can ask me, sir, people are getting only 380, 350, sir. How come? Sir, be practical, sir. Be pragmatic, sir. I understand your mind voice. Let me ask you one question, ladies and gentlemen. Who is stopping you from not scoring 500? What's stopping you? Small aim is crime. Think big, aim high. Only when you think big, only when you aim at star, at least you can land on moon. In Tamil, there is a saying, உள்ளுவதெல்லாம் உயர் உள்ளல், வெள்ளத்தனையது மலர் நீட்டம், மாந்தர்தம் உள்ளத்தனையது உயர்வு. Ladies and gentlemen, what's stopping you? Who is stopping you? So think big, be ambitious, nothing wrong in that. Once you fix your ambition or goal, naturally you will start working towards that particular direction. You can't see the entire staircase when you put your first step. You can't see. You have to believe, you start working on it, finally you will reach that expected place, ladies and gentlemen. With that note, of course, that later end, let us enter into, all the concepts we are going to discuss. Yes, we spoke, at length about the importance. Let's enter into the very concept, objectivity. This is fundamental and core principle of sociology that you see in variety of, manifestations. You've got another concept also called value neutrality, closely associated with this objectivity. And you got in culture portion, we already discussed that culture and associated concepts, and some of the newcomers, coming here. Let me parallelly welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and Rupanjali Malik, and cricket lover, and Unmesh Surti. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unacademy. This is Success Sampath interacting with you. Very good afternoon. He said, sir, NCERT is sufficient for mains? No, not at all. You are almost asking, sir, do you think my qualification of, school qualification is sufficient to become, the district collector? It sounds like that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because you got textbooks, you got, the IGNO materials, and the textbooks also variety. And you please watch my, I think, Unmesh Shurti, you can watch my previous videos where I've suggested, that resources, and you can get. Otherwise, that every video at the end we discuss, that reference resources, no problem at all. Yeah, welcome Mudit Singh. Good afternoon. Yes, it is right time. Objectivity. So it is getting manifested in various ways. Even in the culture domain, you see cultural relativism, because there is nothing is absolutely right and nothing is absolutely wrong in this world. The context decides. For a pious Hindu, worshipping cow, especially on Pradosham day, is auspicious. For a pious Muslim, giving gurbani and beef eating practice is pious. It is not evaluating a Muslim from Hindu standards, or it is not evaluating, that the very Hindu from Muslim standards, ladies and gentlemen. The context decides where you are talking, where you are, that you're evaluating. First of all, who gave you authority to evaluate? Why do you become judgmental? If situation demands you to evaluate, you have to understand the context. You have to see in the big picture. It is that way. I think, you would have understood. Objectivity. Otherwise, that. So, I'm also talking, don't say, I'm talking everything in religion, because India, of course, unity in diversity, a land of cultural pluralism. We with more power comes more responsibility. As a majority Hindus, you have to take care of your minorities. That is what the essence of secularism, ladies and gentlemen. That is part of the constitution. We have got provisions also. It is inclusive governing, social inclusion. We are talking manifestations. Why? It is that way. Even the very Hinduism, you talk about cross cousin marriages, whereas in Islam, you talk about parallel cousin marriages. Don't become judgmental. It is not making mockery of, people, because the culture varies from place to place, time to time, context to context. This understanding, it's because of the core principle called objectivity. What objectivity is all about? See as it is. Don't expect how it should be. The moment you start expecting, you land up in disappointments, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it is talking about karma theory, nishkama karma. It is not renunciation of duty, renunciation in duty. While doing the duty, while discharging your duty, while performing your duty, don't think about result. You can't escape from the result. Right action will fetch right result. All these manifestations you see in your lifetime, that is what objectivity. Otherwise, be detached with the results. All your religions, all your way of life teaching this way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not, see, in the name of sociology, I am not teaching anything new to you, because you know everything. Only what I'm doing is quantification of your understanding. Just I supply, that few nomenclatures, especially terminologies of your understanding. I give shape to your understanding. Otherwise, let me put this way, I'm not going to say anything new, because it's part of the society, all about society, because you are in society, I'm also in society. How come I can speak, against society? Ladies and gentlemen, that way. So objectivity, what is this? An attitude of mind deemed proper to a particular scientific investigate. This particular attitude you should have. You should not become judgmental. You should not be biased. You should not be influenced. You should not be prejudiced. Ladies and gentlemen, see as it is. An optimist will see solution in every problem. A pessimist will see problem in every solution. You also speak that way. I'm not asking you to be optimist or pessimist. See as it is. See as it is. Accept as they are. This is what the problem today. When you don't accept people as they are, that leads to intolerance. That leads to ultimately chaos, confusion. That affects peace. The moment that you start loving people, you accept as they are, that leads to peace. That leads to economic development and happiness. All these things, see, the very living is no way different from all these concepts, ladies and gentlemen. It is unfortunately in practice, sometimes that ups and downs. We lose our emotional balance, the temperament ultimately. That's causing all round problems, ladies and gentlemen. It is that way. So you are supposed to be, that free from prejudice. You should be detached. Don't attach yourself. Otherwise, don't get influenced. Don't become subjective. Be objective. This is what the meaning. Otherwise, that this is important. That methodology. One of the important methodologies in sociology, objectivity. Otherwise, that let me put this way: you are very open. Whatever may be the evidence, that otherwise evidence, whatever it may reveal, you are very open to accept. Be open-minded, ready to face the challenges. No, only life. If it is going to be like this, I will live. Otherwise, I won't. What is this? Ready to face any eventualities. That is what life, ready to face the challenges. Fasten your belt, ladies and gentlemen. It is that way we are talking about. Yes, beyond that, so that it is applied to the method of investigation employed. You just imagine a situation when you are going to collect some information, when you are involved in a particular social research. If you don't like a particular caste, what will happen? If you don't like a particular religion, what will happen? It's the biased, the information what you collect biased. There are some people, even in your day-to-day life, you witness, they will listen. Whatever you say, they will listen only from their own perspective. You can't change. Otherwise, they got used to, it's not, accusing anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we witness some sort of personalities like that. The perspective, that got hardened to the core. So that is, that you should avoid. That's what it is applied in the method of investigation. You are supposed to be detached, without prejudice. Don't be subjective. Then only that the data will be, that real data. Otherwise, that it is colored version. It is manufactured data, fabricated data, what we are talking. So the procedures designed to protect the investigations from bias, also called objectivity. It's a mechanism, it's a procedure, it's a methodology, it's an attitude an individual should have as a scientific investigator when you go for, collecting data. So it is very much needed in the collection of data or even to interpret the data. The interpretation should not be colored. It should be, that well balanced. That is what, even while reading Hindu newspaper, we advise you not to get, influence, that so that you never become communist. That of course, even the Hindu newspaper aware of it, the critical thinking in such a way, somewhat the leanings. So you be balanced, but the critical thinking I appreciate. The facts they, incorporate for substantiation. You be the swan, of course, that you talk about, in front of you, that when water mixed with, that milk, it is that way, what to take, what to leave. It is your prerogative. That goes with your maturity. That goes with your understanding. That goes with your purpose, ladies and gentlemen. It is that way. Objectivity is all about that. You talk about, the very sociologists, that own unavoidable social, that the very political engagement. You can ask me, sir, is it possible? Is it viable? Of course. In the day-to-day life situation, it is not. People are not, that machines. They are with emotions. You can't expect, that everybody with same, the temperament as you have, the emotional intelligence, maturity. Of course, it may be ups and downs. The mood swings we are talking about. One day they will be hugging you, one day they will be hating you. It will happen. But that demands your passions. So it is very natural in social media, social situations, given the diversity of nature, the cultural pluralism, the unity in diversity. It's very natural, that you will face the variety of, that engagement. It's the sociologists, that one unavoidable. You are supposed to be, that maintain that objectivity. In spite of that, it's very natural you will get influence. You should be very conscious. Same concept we are going to apply in value neutrality also. Yes, objectivity allows a person to have a personal opinion based on scientific methods, evidence-based reasoning. Actually, if what I'm saying, this is, there are seeing the two sides of a single coin. If I say this way, ladies and gentlemen, it is based on rationalization, reasoning. It is also talking about one particular bias. Change is permanent. Even the change will undergo change. For every thesis, antithesis, then synthesis. So if this is right, objectivity, the definition is right today, there may be some other parameters tomorrow for defining this objectivity. You should be ready to change. That's the meaning. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you would have got the essence. Yes, it is that way. I think it is right time. Let me take you to the next concept. Ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, and completely, sir, that we can Just follow you, so that we can, yeah, of course, yes. Sir, will you continue this series without breaking the mid course? How come? Why should I? It is a course launched. You please participate in all the sessions. You will be, that intimated in advance. Every week, you got a schedule. It has been uploaded there. You can watch all my, the YouTube channels. So you just follow me, you'll get the sociology. Just follow me, you will get, IR. IR is meant for this month. And you can also, that visit, that Unacademy platform, where I've got every day evening, that 7 o'clock sessions. Currently focus is on the prelims, especially MCQs, as well as basic keywords. I think cricket lover, you would have got the information completely. That is what the very purpose. Unacademy will take care of you. And we team, especially the top educators, working to take care of you. Ladies and gentlemen, just believe, just accept, just start working on what we say. You will reach. You can't see the entire staircase when you put your first step. That is what I told you. You can connect. Ladies and gentlemen, this is right time. Let me take you to the next slide. Yes, value neutrality. What is this? See, this, you are supposed to be neutral. Before going there, let me ask you the question. Do you know what is value? Even the previous sessions we discussed. Otherwise, let me put social value. Social values are nothing but general guidelines to an action. You show your desire, you show your preference. Not to kill, not to harm, not to hurt anyone. Love everybody. Maybe the value system we are talking about, ahimsa. So this, you show your general desire. But in spite of that, the deviations happening. That's, I don't expect everybody to be in 100% conformity with this concept. People are deviating. It's not possible. If you say you are vegetarian, even that you kill plants. Who will speak on behalf of the plants? JC both said even plant has got life. Then you can't practice not to kill, not to harm. Then higher order, there comes that reproduction cycle. Where the life cycle ultimately, ladies and gentlemen. So it is that way. So general guidelines to an action. Somehow you come to the conclusion, you arrive at a pattern, this is right, this is wrong. This is, that we show preference. It is that way. General guidelines to an action is called value. Social value. When you make it more specific, it becomes social norm. Don't do this, don't do that. Stricter sense. Then ultimately you go for formalization or documentation, it becomes law of any nation. So do you understand the evolution, the law from social values? Social values are, after all, part and parcel of the culture. That is the blueprint of the society. When you talk about culture, we spoke already, the whole complex which includes everything, knowledge, art, belief, language, literature, custom, tradition, everything that can be acquired by any human being as a member of the society through socialization. So this value, social value, is part of the culture. That value, sir, you said, that your preference, show of preferences, your desire, your general guidelines, how can take it? Or how come I can be neutral from taking? This is all about it. It's almost like objectivity. But if you want to reach neutrality, you need the subject of, objectivity. Without practicing objectivity, we can never reach value neutrality. Here, you are supposed to be value neutral because Indian value system is different from Western value system. Of course, here we talk about spiritualism. We are always, preoccupied with the notion of otherworldly living. There is life after death, especially majority Hindus like that. The Indian value system, unity in diversity. Collectivism is the core principle. There is no penal mechanism for, that when the whole village involved in murdering a criminal, you can't, punish the whole village. It is called, that the collective opinion. It is called sanctioned by the village. You can't punish the whole village because it is called, collective opinion. Then that becomes part and parcel of the law, part of the society. It is that way, ladies and gentlemen. So Indian value system is totally different, from Western value system. I said, why? Their individualism, materialism. It is that way. So, that, and also, that material accumulation, they are running after that. But whereas Eastern Oriental system, renunciation, giving up everything. As I told you, right? A guy who gave up everything is valued high in the Eastern value system. A guy who accumulated everything is valued high, in the Western system. But it's very fortunate thing. They are embracing East, we are embracing West. We don't see each other eye to eye. Because the attitude, there is always green pasture attitude. In Tamil, there is a saying, "Matran thotattu malligayum manakkum." But you can take that, in positive sense. You should have the tendency to appreciate good thing in others, other cultures, other communities. That's totally different scenario. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Weber, a German sociologist responsible for this, value neutrality concept, he emphasizes it is very difficult for any sociologist to practice value neutrality. As we speak, the hands hitherto served roses. How come you can expect the hands to be free from the fragrance of the roses? Even in your, the home, that the village area, have you taken food? They will ask you, they will smell your hand. But nowadays, you don't touch people. It's culture different. We are talking about. They'll, have taken food? Come and show me your hand. They will say, smell. The hands hitherto served roses. You can't expect the hands to be free from the fragrance of the roses. No sociologist can be free from, from influence, a bias from his own personal value system, his own, a group value system. It's very difficult, but in spite of that, everyone should try. That is what Max Weber's, emphasis, ladies and gentlemen. So the duty of the sociologist is to identify, acknowledge. For that, what you have to do? First, you understand what is your value system. You be aware of that. You acknowledge that, and you please overcome from that particular personal bias. It is that way. See, you may be, that practicing ahimsa, but when you are in the border, you can't say, that there is an enemy in front of you. A Pakistani, of course, cross-border terrorism, Pakistan sponsored, terrorists standing in front of you. Otherwise, Chinese aggressive soldiers standing in front of you, that trying to intrude the Indian territory, the penetrate, from the border. You can't say it is land of Buddha, land of Gandhi, where you are supposed to protect the nation. Their value system is totally different. You don't say, I am from such a family, vegetarian family, we never even killed ant, even the small creatures we respect. I'm from Jain family. After 6 o'clock, that we use this, that so that even the mosquitoes not entering and getting killed. Please acknowledge your value system. Try to overcome the personal biases, because you are meant for different, the context. You have to understand the context. It is that way, ladies and gentlemen. And that we talk about the personal values could distort the framework, whatever may be the report you make. And not only that, it is attempting to remain impartial, that otherwise, in not only in study, even in observation, even in analysis, it's almost like, that objectivity. But objectivity is a path to reach, that value neutrality, ladies and gentlemen. That is a path. Okay, because objectivity itself, bias for your kind information, because you speak objectivity based on reasoning, the scientific principle, methodology, observation, experimentation, verification, hypothesis. Tomorrow the parameters may change. But value neutrality is, the core principle again. It is that way. So sociologists are obligated to disclose research findings without omitting or distorting. That is what happening in the news media, even politicians. They will selectively use the data to highlight their own purpose. We don't want, be aware. You don't say, I don't know, they misused my understanding, they misled me. That's your fault. Ignorance of fact is not an excuse. Got the point? In the world of, globalization, even the internet revolution, that if you're ignorant, that's a crime. Ignorance is a crime. So it's that way. So ladies and gentlemen, so value neutrality, that of course you can say is the path or means to objectivity. You can also speak other way around. Because the opinion differs. People consider this objectivity as a core principle. There are people considering this immediate value system, value neutrality, as a core principle, interchangeably also. But majority people, that especially sociological circle, reaching this level, value neutrality, if you practice, you can reach objectivity, because objectivity is the core principle of sociology. Where you see, don't take sides, it is that way. So because, we give scientific temperament, reason-based explanation, where it gains, priority. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that way. So value, you can ask me, so how this value comes from? I told you already, from culture, especially from your caste system, ethnicity. Ethnicity is all about race plus culture. Race is pure biological category. When you give social dimension, say cultural dimension, it becomes ethnicity. Caste, ethnicity. Caste is one of the social stratifications in India. You classify people, stratify people based on purity pollution. Religion, a social institution. Language is part and parcel of the culture, which is said to be vehicle of the culture. And beyond that, race and culture, again this ethnicity we can talk about. Reincarnation in another version. So it brings, person biases and subjectivity. That is why. So because you're brought up, your socialization naturally. I think it is right time, ladies and gentlemen, we have to move. So value neutrality is free from biases and prejudices. It doesn't have subjectivity biases, but it is very difficult, as said by Max Weber. So you can talk this way. So which presupposes, that which precedes, what you come to know, it is that way, ladies and gentlemen, whatever may be, both related to the notion that you are supposed to be free from your bias, prejudice, influence, which is the core aspect of that sociology. That is why sociology is valued high, became very popular, that enriches your understanding, so that you see two sides of a single coin. What is Anami? Norm, N-O-R-M. Norm means, that talks about stricter norms, rules, regulations. Anam, state of normlessness, state of lawlessness. Dharma, adharma. Got the idea? It is that way. So, norm, the opposite concept is anam. State of lawlessness, it is a condition of instability resulting from the breakdown of standards and values, or from the lack of purpose or ideals. Ladies and gentlemen, when the situation is very ripe for imposition of Article 356, you just imagine. The state is not even in a position to carry out in accordance with the law. When the governor gives report to the President of India every day in such a way, sir, the situation is ripe, law and order breakdown, machinery, of course, President will impose 356. That situation can be equated with this Anami, state of lawlessness, state of normlessness. Some civil war-like situation can be equated with this. You can never enforce social order that went beyond your control. That situation could be called as this Anami. This particular notion was introduced by French sociologist Emile Durkheim, or Emile Durkheim you call, especially in a study called suicide. You know what is suicide? It's, that recently in Tamil Nadu you might be hearing, that the school kids, these are all the things happening, getting politicized also. And, that parallelly it's happening, that people are unable to cope up with the system, unable to cope up with the change. They felt hopeless. Suicide, killing one's own self. Sui generis, your own. Killing side, pesticide, that you talk about, infesticide, you talk about, right? Killing the pest is called pesticide. It is that way. You got other terms also, genocide, matricide, patricide. Mass killing is called genocide. It is that way. You talk about, that, that you talk about, that the very pesticide will be appropriate, very well. So killing the pest, same way, killing oneself is called suicide, ladies and gentlemen. So, that especially in a study of suicide, how individuals committing oneself, for that, he has got variety of reasons. She has got variety of reasons. Maybe, the societal attachment more, or detachment with the society. Or sometimes, that societal control more, or absence of social control. So, absence of social control, breakdown of, that law and order mechanism could be equated with this Anami. Anamic suicide, he says, where you will come to know when we go through, that Emile Durkheim. So, it is Emile Durkheim ultimately, the French sociologist. It's not only that, even American sociologists, modern structural functionalists, R.K. Merton, Robert King Merton, responsible for, that, especially he studied what are all the causes, the reasons behind this Anami, state of lawlessness, normlessness. And he says, that each and every society has got its own goals, but it's not prescribing means. My mom will bless me. So you will be great men in the world. My mom blessings. I will ask how. I don't know. You have to do, she will say. So the same way society is saying, so that society has got its own goals, but it is working towards mechanisms, but mechanisms they are yet to reach. There is a gap between expected goals and ways with which you can reach the goal called means. There is a gap. So this incongruency between goals of the society and means of the society may be responsible for, that is why all social problems, whether it is poverty, unemployment, gender injustice, transgender injustice, even the widening gap between rich and poor, or corporate driven politics, or NPA, the stressed assets on the part of public sector banks, the corruption even, and sexual assault on women, the corruption in kind, nepotism, favoritism, casteism, communalism, the centrifugal tendencies, Naxalism, and so many things you can enlist when you talk about social problems. All these social problems, if you identify what is the source here you can locate. So each and every society has got its own idealistic goals, but in practice they don't have means to reach them, means to achieve those goals. The incongruency is responsible. This is what, according to, that's why that Anami is getting reflected in various ways. He said, that you got goal, you got means. If you accept both, society says, that you become great men, you serve the nation, so you want to serve the society, you want to become IAS officer, you accepted the goal of the society, and you also accepted the right means, you are writing UPSC Civil Services Examination, you are said to be in conformity. Same way, no, I want to serve the society, why should I choose, become IAS officer? Let me be part of, that one, the non-governmental organization, let me form, let me serve. That is innovation. As a scientist, you can, that your invention may be, that ultimately responsible. Say the given COVID situation, maybe you come up with the idea as a scientist, if you are. You find vaccination immediately. Of course, trial period is there. That's totally different. And when you meet the parameters, when you invent medicine, you are part of the solution. So you also serve. It's not only India, you serve the whole humanity. Serving in so many ways. Even we say patriotism is not only becoming a soldier and standing in the border protecting the nation. But even if you're not indulging in corruption, you are patriot. Even if you respect women, you are patriot. Even you respect the constitution, you are patriot. So innovative way, multiple ways. So you accept the goal, but means you explore. Actually, that you reject socially recommended, that means rather you identify. You replace with your own, that means innovatively, creatively. So ritualism, what happens, right? So you don't accept, that otherwise, what happened? You reject the goals. What is meant for the goal? What is meant for the society, good for the society, you outrightly reject. But you do something without goal, without target, without direction, without ambition. So that you get up, that you do all around, day-to-day activities, stereotypes activities, and you go to job, you do something, you get salary, you eat, you sleep, you die. Stereotypes, not understanding the very purpose of living, in what way you are part of the big picture called the whole humanity. That is ritualism, ceremonial thing. You don't understand the purpose. Monotonous. It is that way. So there are a lot of ritual peoples, ritualistic people are, that without understanding the purpose they are living. It's pathetic situation. Retreatism, it's totally different. You reject, that it is not only rejecting the goals, you also reject the means. Hippie culture, you would have seen, the people roaming, that the here and there, wine and dine culture. They are not bothered about anything. And of course, that there could have been, some other establishments to take care of all these, deviant personalities. Retreatism, they reject societal means, societal goals. This is according to Archimedes, ladies and gentlemen. And not only that, that, so the very means when I'm talking about, of course, you go for new kind of means, especially rebellion mode we are talking about. You go for new goals, new means. In that sense, it's totally different. See, here, you accept the goals in innovation, you reject the means alone. But here, you replace, new means, new goals. That's called rebellious mode. As, communists, they want to have classless communist society. They don't want elections. It is that way. So that's why, India is a socialist country. Of course, the manifestation of, the very communism in different fashion. The Marxism has got variety of, that interpretations. And they don't have, the communists don't have faith, in government, they want, that ruin the government. The extreme wing, of course, you talk about Naxalism. So that's totally, rebellious mode you're talking about. So the government could tackle that menace. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that way. I think that Anami, state of lawlessness, and thanks to that Emile Durkheim as well as Robert King Merton, or K. Merton you call. So the family, it is social institution. You are already part of it. It is a subsystem of the whole system called society. It is one of the agents of socialization. That you come to know what is the culture of the society. Your personality is inculcated. The value system is inculcated in you, because a society teaches you through family institutionalization. You also take in the value system. It is called internalization. You got types of family, variety of family based on the size, structure we call. Maybe based on the size, it could be called joint family, 2 to 3 generations living together. Extended family we call, but joint family, everything shared under common roof, common kitchen, common property, common home, joint family. But it is breaking down, and given that industrialization, thanks to technology and migration, transportation, the individualism on the part of individual, maybe Western education. So joint family is breaking down, giving way to the nuclear and neo-local family. Nuclear and neo-local family, when I say husband, wife, children living there, sometimes they are living separate from the parental home. Nuclear family, neo-local family, on the basis of size, even on the basis of head of the family. That patriarchal family, matriarchal family, who is the head of the family based on that. Otherwise, you trace your origin. Say we are majority, that we are, of course, Kerala is matrilineal society, matriarchal society. And even you would have heard the term, especially in Andhra region, Gautami Putra Satakarni, tracing, that name through mother's name. So, but predominantly in Indian system, you got patriarchal setup, you carry your dad's name. And as a matter of gender justice, there are, the parents, that naming the kids, that incorporating both initials of, father and mother. So on the basis of lineage, you trace your origin from father side or mother side, accordingly types of family. So it is that way we talk about. And what is the structure and function of the family? Family has got its own structure. It has got various statuses: father, mother, daughter, son, and in-laws, very well. Structure, various statuses, and each and every status is supposed to discharge some duties out of that status. That's called role. Society expects, the structure expects, the social groups expecting you. As a doctor, you are supposed to cure the passion. As a doctor, you can also become administrator and take that, to the next level. Come on. So the function, sexual function, reproductive function, socializing function, even economic functions. When you talk about family as a social institution, you got variety of functions. So beyond that, you don't see the same family. Family is changing. As I said, joint families are breaking down, giving way to the new families, that neo-local family, nuclear family. If you go to rural area, you will find, that all brothers fighting for that small land fragmentation. So the whole life lived within that. Even today, you witness joint family land partition. They will run pillar to the post court system. The 2 to 3 generations, the life will be spoiled. We have seen the joint family partition. So I'm not saying that is wrong. So the maturity level may not be there. People that varies from family to family. That goes with leadership of the family. But of course, given that new kind of value system, Western education, the Western system, the individualism, materialism, privacy, the passion, that's changing the nature of the family. For example, without that marriage, you can't establish family. When marriage itself undergoing change, because people started questioning marriage. Why marriage? Why not live in relationship? So when the marriage itself changing, accordingly family is also changing. It's not only that, we have to speak more in family. What is that? You got various perspectives in family. As I told you, the prism with which you see the very family as an institution. Functionalism will say the family is good for society. Family is universal, where primary socialization happens. Even after all your emotional, disturbance outside the world, the moment you come home, you are tamed because of your family members. The taming of individuals, so that you are ready for, that next day, for the activities, for your career. So primary socialization and stabilization of adult personality. So family is needed. Family is universal institution. So family promotes social order because you are properly conditioned the family, so that you will never find conflicting situations in the society. So family performs several essential functions part of the society, because family is the basic unit of society. So you ensure social order in the society, socializing children, providing emotional support, and regulating sexual activities, sexual reproduction, and it provides identity too. In joint family names, in Andhra, Telugu, it's called Inti Peru, house names. The P.V. Narasimha Rao, it has got, that N.T. Ramarao, that Nandamuri, Tharaga Ramarao, we are talking about, it's a house names. Even, in Tamil Nadu also, in every family, you got family name, you carry that family title, the house, that gives you identity. People recognize you with that identity. Even within a caste, identity plays crucial role. And also sudden far-reaching changes we are talking about, that in the family structure, and that threatens the stability and also weakening the society. The change we witness. Conflict school will address only the conflict part of the society. In what way family is responsible for social inequality in the society? Otherwise, the very social inequality you witness in the family, same thing is getting reflected. The exploitation of the family, you witness in the exploitation of the society. Women are exploited, they are not properly compensated, taken care of, they are not given equal status in the family. Same thing, gender injustice at the society. Otherwise, reinforcing patriarchy. Family can also be source of conflict. One gangster trying to, work against another gangster. Maybe, that after some time, the division over a property, over some, the difference of opinion, very well. Sometimes it becomes, a place for emotional cruelty. So it's a negative way of looking at things. Of course, conflict school of thought. It is also true partially. And symbolic interactionism, of course, it gives, emphasis on, very well. So interaction among the family members, especially over shared understanding of the situation. And wives and husbands, they have different styles of communication, even the reference. And accordingly, that how do you expect, husband should be, the spouses accordingly we talk about. And that when you talk about American, that the marriages, it's romantic, but that, whereas in traditional Eastern Oriental countries, it's totally different. And treating husband as a god in the patriarchal setup, it is that way totally different situation we are talking about. That varies, the value system, whatever may be the value system, everything comes out of, that interaction and using the gestures, symbols, what we are talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not only that. We are moving to the next concept. We are living in the world of secularization, and to some extent we are moving from a paradigm shift. Even the Howard S. Becker said, sacred to secular. The society predominantly dominated by the sacred value system, controlled by religion, influence of religion, the influence of church we are talking about. From church to, that secular concept, that where religion becomes private affairs of an individual. You become modern. There are, that in place of religious value system, some other value system will take place. That is the point we are talking about. So the belief in society, the extent to which we are undergoing process of secularization, especially Brian Wilson responsible for this particular concept. He says the process whereby religious thinking, practices, institutions lose their significance when you become more modern. But of course, in Indian context, it's totally different. That we never forget the root. Otherwise, that if you have faith, you strictly honor. But even the church attendance coming down. That's what, on the basis of various studies, research studies speaking that way in the US, UK, that people participating on Sunday mass, they are coming down. And the religion has become, that has got its reduced sphere. Not as it happened in the agrarian society. Maybe the fear out of religion, but today people have become, that from religious to, that spiritual especially. So they start connecting everything. They understood, all religions are different paths leading to the same destination. It is that way where the role of, the religious influence coming down, rather, that the spiritual influence, going up. Otherwise, the modern other priorities taking, that in place of religious value system, we become, less religious. This notion we are talking about. So religious practices, this is what the case study, that we spoke. I think it is right time. As I told you, Howard S. Becker, the sacred to secular, that we are talking about. So the Max Weber especially would talked about, that religion. He spoke rationalization, especially in Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. He talked about this, secularization, the rationalization, show me proof attitude, show me reason, cause and effect attitude. Ultimately, that otherwise you got, a lot of disenchantment with the world, or religious related, that something forced religious conversion, or religious fundamentalism, or majoritarian tendencies, whatever may be the form. No religion is free from this accusation, for your information. Gentlemen, it is that way. So Max Weber spoke about this secularization. Even Talcott Parsons talking about when society is becoming large, complex, it is very natural tendency. Even Auguste Comte said that way. Theological stage, metaphysical stage, scientific stage. Right? If you are very pious, you know that you are, you know that rational thinking people will say, hey, you are still living in primordial age. You are still in traditional agrarian society under the influence of religion. You have to think scientifically, man, with modern temperament. So this opinion, even that happening in our day-to-day interactions, right? So other institutions have taken, you know, that a crucial role. Otherwise, you got functional alternatives. If you say religion brought people together, today, you know, you got variety of things. Maybe culture bringing people together, music bringing people together, ideology bringing people together, or economic purpose bringing people together. Ladies and gentlemen, you got variety of information. So it is that way. I think it is right time. What happens, right? Alienation is all about you feel estranged from societal setup. This is what Karl Marx says. So people, you know, that ultimately given, you know, capitalistic system, as Karl Marx actually, you know, in the historical materialism says how the capitalistic mode of production is highly exploitative, where, you know, that they exploit you, and what the value you contribute and what you are compensated, there is always gap. That difference is being appropriated by the capitalist as a profit. What you give in and what you get back, the difference. That's why the capitalism is always accused by the Marxists, especially the trade unions, of course, you know, that wedded to the Marxism, they say exploitative, management is exploitative, that notion. What happened? People got affected by this exploitation or inhuman working conditions. They naturally have developed this tendency, or sometimes monotony, drudgery in the job. They develop this feeling, separation, estrangement. It may be at the, you know, they get deep, you know, that because of the thing you are working in Mercedes-Benz company, you won't be given every year one Mercedes-Benz, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting, you know, that alienated from the product, from the process. You don't know the whole process. Then later what happens? You get alienated from the community. And finally, you hate yourself. You get alienated from yourself. This state of self-estrangement. You are no more yourself. All marketing executives you witness in the roadside, that guy will be somewhere, immediately he will start talking. What is this? Okay. If you don't buy the product, he will start scolding you. He's programmed to that. Right? This, he is not himself. You are not yourself. That's what sales personality. Even receptionist, you would have witnessed in the star hotel she encountered. She would have been somewhere. Yes, sir. What can I do? This artificial smile on the face. You are not yourself. Modern tertiary service sector, you are likely to encounter all these things we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So Karl Marx talking about this effects of capitalism, especially, you are almost treated like a cog on a machine. Even if you are not there, system will go on. You are such a redundant status to an individual, where you feel this, that powerlessness, normlessness. So the people, that ultimately, that coming to the street, and that irrespective of the value system, they are not bothered. They are totally out of the society. That is what the thing, Karl Marx, it's outcome of the historical materialism and associated discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, what is self? This self, this is what me, that forms only in interaction. The symbolic interactionism helps you, especially the perspective, only during social interaction situation, you develop your self, conception about self. It's also, the overlapping subject matter between sociology and psychology. Impact of individual on society, impact of society on individual, ladies and gentlemen. So famous that psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud, who said, he also spoke about ego, superego. That ego is the battleground between, superego and id. Id is all about reflexive behavior, animal behavior, superego, godliness. Ultimately, we fight between kadavul paadi, mirham paadi, kalandu seida kalavai naan. Got the idea? There is a song in Tamil, it is that way. So your mixture of both id, and sometimes id dominates, sometimes superego dominates. Id, animal behavior. You don't control your emotion. But super, that ego that says, that you develop maturity, passions, the godly night, saint-like character. But sometimes, that you lose your temperament. That's what ego plays, right? So this is psychoanalyst, that where you analyze, who you are. So personality and sexual, the development, so all these things, part of social psychology we are talking about. So that maturation of the process of psychosexual, that stages in various way. oral, anal, phallic, latency, genital. He has got classification, need not go into, but this is all about self-development. The self-development, your self-formation, especially that develops, he says, from mother's breastfeeding, toilet training, your sexual awareness. This is what your personality. Anything goes wrong, maybe we have to trace the origin in socialization. Something gone wrong in the socialization, that traces back. It is that way, ladies and gentlemen. And not only that, even the looking glass self, by keeping society as your mirror, you come to know who you are based on the feedback you receive. This is what called looking glass self theory, given by Charles Hurton Cooley. Even George Herbert Mead, G.H. Mead said, significant others generalize others in shaping your understanding about yourself. Sometimes, that the dress we wear, you ask, is it nice? Is it fantastic? The costumes you check, because whose opinion is highly valuable. All your, that the friends, your parents, significant others, whereas rest of the society generalized others. So all these things, helping you to shape who you are. The I, animal, becomes me. The individual self becomes social self in the social interaction. You come to know who you are. You develop self-formation. So not only that, so many, that some more concepts, I think it is right time. Let me take few more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So the judgment system we are talking about, especially you associate with caste system in the rural area, where it is, that a contract almost, not based on economic interest. It's a contractual between, the relationship, intercaste, interfamilial, intergenerational relationship. You witness even the rural area if you go to, the today. So whenever, there is, agricultural, that of course the cropping, the procurement season, of course, there will be, that people from different castes will be standing there. I have personally witnessed my dad giving away, that the very paddy bags, and they are washerman community, and they are from, that ultimately barbers you just give. So the people, it's not cash, it's kind. So the upper caste taking care of the lower caste people. It is intercaste, interfamilial, intergenerational relationship we are talking about. It is highly pronounced in the judgment system, but it got weakened in the modern day, that advancements, science and technology, transportation, migration, the individualism, the money-centric relationship, everything gone. It's not speaking right or wrong. So it is almost, occupational division of labor involving role relationships, especially system of role relationships you witnessed in villages, which is most self-sufficient in character. They never complained. The belief system, it was working in such a way, whatever may be. So the integral part of, that the caste system that you witness, it is part of the integral, that the very integral part of the caste system in rural India. Not only that, gentlemen, you got, that the very criticism leveled against this, that otherwise when they were paid properly, they would have accumulated with, they would have invested, that would have taken Indian economy to the next level. A generation, 2 to 3 generations got spoiled that way. So there is also an accusation against this judgment system, the system that never supported economic development. That is also accusation against it. Even Max Weber reinforcing that particular point. Yes, what is power? When you are said to be powerful, ladies and gentlemen, when you have the tendency to misuse the power, to indulge in corruption. Otherwise, let me put this, that very famous, the saying you witness in your day-to-day life, the tendency of the power is to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And before going there, what is power? Ability to carry out things even against the resistance. That's called power. It is not doing, routine things that you are said to be powerful, ladies and gentlemen. Only, that when others, only, that you see, witness obstacles, in spite of that you carry out things. Otherwise, Max Weber's definition, let me take you there. It is especially the ability to control others, events, resources, and to make happen that one wants to happen in spite of the obstacles, resistance, opposition. Then you are said to be powerful. But and based on this power, when you misuse, it is called threat, coercion, abuse, or illegitimate use of power. You are not said to be possessing authority, but legitimate use of power is said to be authority. The law should back that particular power. The statute should back that particular power. In that sense, it could be called authority. Legitimate use of power is said to be authority, ladies and gentlemen. So where we are talking about traditional authority, charismatic authority, you based on custom, tradition, you get authority. Based on, your superhuman ability, that extraordinary, like Mahatma Gandhi, that I'm going to enlist examples also. And you also talk about legal rational authority. The law justifies your authority. Maybe the constitution, the protocol. As Prime Minister of India, as Union Minister, you talk about, that based on law, based on the constitution, you derive power. That's called legal rational authority. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is that way. And not only that, you go to the next level. Charismatic authority is all about your personal abilities to sway people, to influence people. As you say, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. Even people, that in Tamil Nadu politics, that the MGR had that, the charismatic politics. Even to some extent, Jayalalitha was said that way. Even NTR was worshipped like Krishna in Andhra Pradesh, well. NT Ramarao Garu. It is that way we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the personal, the abilities to influence people. That is called charismatic authority. But, that is what, that even the Jesus Christ, in Christianity, the Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., especially in the United States of America, well. And even the negative example, of course, the Adolf Hitler, very well, Nazism, the Germany, what happened. So it is that way you got variety of examples, even for negative reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, so the Talcott Parsons and Max Weber talking about, this power is not fixed, that varies from place to place, time to time. When the power is, that variable, how each and every society has got power. A society is said to be more powerful when it is capable of meeting its own, that objectives or goals. Then it is said to be more powerful. When it is not capable of meeting the goals, it is said to be, that less powerful. So the power is not fixed, power varies. That's according to, that Talcott Parsons. But whereas Max Weber took different stand. No. Power is fixed. Power is always 100%. If I'm with 90%, you got only 10%. If I'm with 50%, you got only, the rest of the 50. So power is fixed, but one group is said to be enjoying more power at the cost of other groups, at the expense of other groups. This notion we are talking about, constant some concept of power. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that way. And not only that, you go to, that when the absence of, that personality like MGR, even Jayalalitha, that what happened, right? The absence of, that the very, shrewd politician, Karunanidhi in DMK, the Kalaignar. Of course, that the Jayalalitha, that absence in ADMK, of course, people started, speaking the political vacuum in Tamil Nadu and all. Of course, leaders come every time. It is not talking about vacuum. It is not outrightly rejecting, that current leadership qualities on the part of current generation. Let's be open-minded. That's what objectivity. Come back, in the absence of this, the charismatic personality, the authority may be shifted to either legal rational or traditional. Ladies and gentlemen, this is by, Max Weber. Of course, I think it is right time. And not only that, we have to talk about resources. I said I emphasize IGNOU materials, not only for these concepts. You can begin with NCERTs. Then you can go for IGNOU materials. Then you got variety of textbooks, especially, you got, the orange color book, Harlambas, Sociological Themes and Perspectives. And a lot of books, book list already given, but for these basic concepts, beyond that, I keep on emphasizing, always emphasizing the role of dictionaries, ladies and gentlemen. There comes, that ultimately William P. Scott, or even, you go for Oxford Dictionary or Penguin Dictionary. And you got next level dictionary also, that's called Duncan Mitchell, for your reference purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, I think, that the very, that the purpose today, I think I could introduce few basic concepts to enrich your understanding and strengthen your, the very foundation of sociological thinking, so that you understand perspectives very well, ready to face all the questions. A part of, the prelims, part of your mains examination, and especially the optional subject, as well as GS, as well as essay, as well as ethics case study, and even oral interview. I think it is right time with these concepts, that we will move to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, we will meet you in another session tomorrow. Sir, I am here, Labak Kumar Patra. Wow. And welcome, gentlemen. I think, that, and I welcome all the people, who participated in this, that welcome to Unacademy. This is Success Sampath so far interacted with you, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That's fantastic. I think with this, and let me say once again, this is Success Sampath. You can use my referral code, say success, and avail 10% discount. Especially, please go for Iconic program, because that demands your 2 years of devotion, ladies and gentlemen. So all the very best and best of luck. Let's meet tomorrow, same time for another subject. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Right.